So my ex-husband takes the kids to Alabama for summer. He has no family in town and works 50 hours a week. He has an on again, off again girlfriend that lives 4 hours away. And I've asked him who is watching our 11 and 6-year-old while he's at work and at the gym. He says it's none of my business. I told him the welfare of the kids is my big business. We've gone back and forth on this multiple times, and I've tried to take him to court before this is happening, but Wayne County, Michigan is hard to deal with, so it didn't work. I've asked him multiple times who's watching the kids, and he says he's got legal advice saying he doesn't need to tell me. Well, my 6-year-old asked him who was watching her, and my ex tells her that the girlfriend will come down once in a while, but she's old enough to stay at home by herself. Oh, how am I going to be 20 hours away from them and not know if anyone's watching them? Does he really not have to tell me who's watching them? Is this something that I can get law enforcement to deal with? Hey there, Billy Tarasio, Arizona family law attorney. This is from the Modern Divorce Support Group. And many people have weighed in and essentially said, Mom, you are SOL. Unless it's in the court order that he has to tell you, he doesn't have to tell you. Some people are saying you could call the police for a welfare check. Some people are saying you could call CPS. I think that this is a situation that falls under parental discretion. He is legally allowed in the state of Alabama, according to commenters, to leave a 6-year-old and 11-year-old alone. There is a reasonable standard, and is it reasonable for them to be alone all day? It probably depends on the specifics and the conditions and the specifics of your children. But unless you specifically have something added to your court order where he needs to tell you who is providing childcare and how it's being provided, you kind of are a little bit stuck.